and we're good to go.
All right, should we set the scene?
Let's set the
scene. So it's a Tuesday in the south of Spain. We've been here a week now. No.
Yeah, a
we've
week
been
and
here
a day.
A week and a day. And we are currently on what we have got decided is training camp.
Yeah.
For you.
This is another good excuse
little
for
bit
a
of
holiday.
Heat. How hot is it?
24.
How far have you run today?
33k.
How are you feeling?
Ferocious. I've actually, do you know what? I've had a really good running week. I've run about 220k in the last week.
Is that how much you've run? Wow.
Solid gains.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to know you're doing what you need to do. Hey, you need some agua. Quick.
Right.
Let's go again.
We need to update everyone. Because I have ghosted for a long time. Dropped a couple videos basically saying I'm running across Africa and then gave no one any information about a thing.
Classic you, Russ.
It is classic
as
me.
I'm getting to know.
It is classic me. So we've jotted some notes and
you jotted some notes.
I jotted some notes. And what we're going to do in this podcast is basically try and give everyone an update of how we got here, what on earth is happening.
Is it happening? Where the fuck have you been?
Yeah, what have I been doing, etc. So,
go on
where
then.
should we start?
I think we should start at where this idea came from. Can you? So Russ is Russ is going to run the true length of Africa, north to south. Where did that come from? Where did that idea come from? You've broken a lot of records. This is fucking ridiculous.
The original idea came from when I finished the Asia to London run, and I was at home and I was like, damn, I miss that lifestyle, I want to get back out there. And I was looking...
Define lifestyle. Africa's very different, but lifestyle?
Just that,
constant
running. Progress.
Battering body.
Yeah. The constant, growth, the constant bettering.
Amazing.
And I was like, I need a bit more of that, overcoming. And I was looking at the map, just,
As you do.
scouting areas. And I saw Africa and I went, yo, that is big. And I went, And then that's when I kind of first locked eyes on it and I was like, that is happening one day.
Okay.
We'll figure that out at some point. But I kind of had to park it because,
but
life.
You point at Africa, did you know it was true north to south at the time that you were going to do that? Or were you just like, I just want to run Africa?
No. Well, it made sense. True north to true south just makes total sense because that is the entire length of the country, right?
Yeah.
So I set my sights on it, but I knew that it was a big beast and it would take a lot to be able to do that. So I couldn't, I didn't have the means to get that underway for a while. So, I did the carpool marathon and then Buried Alive. And then finished Buried Alive, so that this is 2021. And I thought, right, the next one, it makes sense. Africa, let's get that going again. Because it'd been a while. It's been 3 years now since I have done a proper running challenge. And... where am I going with this?
No, since you've done a proper challenge, understandable.
Yeah.
So you were like, now's the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were clearly in a social economical scenario to do it.
Yeah.
You're running Hardest Adventures, right?
Well, that's all charity based, so I wasn't actually making any money.
Okay.
So I still had the huge obstacle of how the fuck am I gonna get the money for this?
And talk to me about how financially in your brain this looked. So
Skiv.
So you're saying
proper cowboy,
yeah, but for a cowboy, how much are you looking at? It's
so
obviously a significant amount for you to challenge it. I'm not going to do it because of money.
So when I first had the idea, I thought 20 G's.
Sorry, laughing because I now know how much. 20k.
Yeah. I thought.
I mean, that's 20K. A lot of money, but that's a lot of money. I get it's a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
You could do a lot. That's a deposit on a fucking house, a nice one,
I don't have 20 G's.
In Worthing.
So I said 20 G's, and I still believe I could get the job done with 20 G's, but it would be a total cowboy solo operation.
Yeah. Drinks wine.
So my first initial thoughts were this was gonna be cowboy like everything else I've ever done. Is budget as fuck and super cowboy, and then
did you quickly realise that you couldn't?
Kind of. I started looking into it a little bit more. I'm not really a big fan of logistics, but I did a few little backgrounds and realised I might need a little bit more than 20k. Then I came up 30, 35,
but for
and the number kept going up. So this is just like
everything.
Food.
Yeah. Okay. This isn't including a crew.
No.
This is still cowboy.
Yeah, okay. Still cowboy. And then I started thinking 40, I could get it done, and maybe persuade a crew to come with me. And then got to 50, settled on 50, and thought, yeah, sweet.
And where are we? What time of year?
So this is now in spring.
Spring this year?
Spring this year, early spring, so like February time.
We've got to 50k, yeah?
Yeah, we
still cowboy.
Realised it would be about 50k. Still cowboy-ish, but optimistic cowboy at this stage.
That. People are going to love you, want to get on board, help create content, because this is fucking ridiculous what they're doing.
Exactly.
Got it.
So then got chatting to a mate who said that one of his really good friends had made some decent money in crypto and was looking for investments, and I thought, I got a good investment because I knew this is going rocket ship to the moon straight up, but it was just that initial capital we needed
okay, and talk to me about rocket ship to the moon, because people can't see inside your brain. So like, what does the rocket ship to the moon look like? We're sat doing a podcast right now. I'm guessing content production is something you're interested in. Is that how you see the hardest geezer spreading?
Yeah, I guess so. I just knew that the base idea was mental enough that people would be interested at some level once we got going.
Okay.
That they would join the party.
Yeah.
And then that would expand, and then, things would just happen.
Cool.
That's kind of, there was no real, at the start, there was no real science behind it. I just kind of knew. It was just vibes, right? I was just like, this makes sense.
Yeah, got it. So you spoke to the friend who has the crypto friend.
Yeah, spoke to him, gave him a breakdown of like, right, if you give me this money, this is what I'm going to do with it, and this is how we're going to make more money, and I'll give it back to you. And then, it was more detailed than that. I'm kind of brushing over it. But I
feel like I want to say he's fucking crazy.
He's a loose geezer.
He must be.
He's like a year younger than me, from the same town as where I'm from, and he's actually got a really interesting story. I'm going to try and get him on the pod at some point. And he just backed it because he was like, this is loose and I want to see it happen. And he was like, fuck it, Russ, like basically gone in. So agreed to deal with him. Then
what time of year is this now? We've gone from spring to what?
We finally agreed a deal probably in like June, maybe May. Cool. May, June. We were talking for a while, had a couple back and forths about this and then about that, and I wasn't like, if this guy was giving me 50k, I didn't want to fuck it up for him. So I was like, I need to make sure if he gives me 50k, I've got exact game plan of like how this is gonna.
I have a question.
Yeah, go on.
At this point, that you're like, wow, fuck, I've got this funding. What are you thinking? I'm leaving in November. Like, are you like
100%?
So from June to November, you're thinking, yeah, I've got backing. I'm just gonna make this happen from the top to the bottom of Africa.
Yeah. Well, in my head,
Cowboy.
all the problems that we've sort of stumbled across.
Yeah.
I just thought, we'll figure that out. That'll be all right. So, like, for example, visas. I thought 16 visas. Yeah, that'll take a bit of time. But surely we'll just apply for them online, get them back. Sweet as.
Your experience of visas is like you've gotten into countries without fucking visas, haven't you? Right.
Yeah. So I didn't think it would be an issue, and then we learn more about it, and we realise, this is an issue.
Africa is a whole different ball game.
Massively.
Okay, so we're in June. We've gotten funding from the crypto guy, and you're thinking, November, it's happening. That is June, July, August, September, October. No, that's 5 months.
Yeah.
To get it together to run through 16 countries. Wow.
Yeah, it was a bit ambitious, but I'm an ambitious guy. So
you are an ambitious guy, and that's what we love about you.
I'm an eternal optimist as well. Like, I see the problem, and I think, we'll get past it. It's fine.
So you get funding on board, and then what happens?
So we get funding, and then throughout this whole time where I've been trying to get the funding, I've also been chatting to a producer called Josh, and his interest in the project has kind of like gathered momentum over this time, and then it got to the point where he said, look, Russ, I'm flying you out to Austria and we're going to film some shit for a few days. I didn't really know what to expect. Spoken to this guy on a phone call a few times. I was like,
So,
fuck it, I'm in.
Background of Josh. Josh used to work for Red Bull, or
Yeah.
currently still works for Red Bull.
Red Bull
He's a
Adventure,
storyteller, right?
He's a storyteller, he's a creative.
He was excited about your story.
Yeah.
For him, he heard about Russ's story and he was like, fuck, I want to tell this story.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. I think that's like the magic. The magic right there is he heard what you were doing and thought, I fucking rate this story and I want to tell it. So you went to Austria.
Mm-hmm.
He flew you out. Bearing in mind, this is like an Instagram chat, right? You two just literally chatted on Instagram.
Yeah.
One phone call, flight booked to Austria.
Yeah.
Off you go with your
Bang.
ginger beard.
Yeah. And I was
Great.
like, fuck it, what's the worst can happen? I've been to Austria before.
Tell me, what went down in Austria? What
So,
went down in Austria?
That sounds so sus. Nah. So we filmed a few bits and pieces, and then.
Okay, back it up. So you filmed a few bits and pieces. If Josh is a storyteller, you've obviously got a crypto guy coming on giving you 50k.
Yeah.
Josh is in to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
I think for you, has it always been a thing where like you would be running? I know in Asia you did a fair amount of like self-recording of your adventure and what you got up to. Is content creation something you wanted to accelerate?
So I knew that the best viable way of getting funding for this was producing a product out of it, and the product had to be content.
There we go. Right, cool. Okay.
Um,
And Josh is a storyteller and he wanted to... So what did he say to you from the beginning? That he wanted to create a documentary or what? It was going to be a film?
So we had slightly different ideas. So my initial idea was that I was thinking, right, YouTube, let's film a load of shit, put it on YouTube of the whole adventure, bang. His idea was, he comes from a more like professional standpoint. He was like, I want to make, I want to make the documentary.
He comes from a more professional standpoint.
Yeah, he was like it's just more traditional, more old school. Like I want to
course.
put this on old media, kind of like documentary.
You're like, money,
TV.
Africa, I'll make it happen. Content, we'll get some more money, blah, blah, blah. And then Josh is
YouTube.
like, legit.
People make money off YouTube. Fuck it, let's do that.
Never thought about the logistics of it, but you know.
Yeah.
So cool. You and Josh meet.
Yeah, it goes great.
It goes great.
Really
You're
good.
right. It goes great.
Goes great. He's like,
everyone so far, there has been a video go out on LinkedIn and on Instagram. You will have seen it was labeled Glory Road. There's like a 60-second version of a 3-minute video that Josh came up with to sort of like sell this Glory Road, right?
Sell this bitch.
Yeah, like Glory Road it's officially a thing. I think we can say that.
Is it? I didn't really know that. Is that the title of this thing? Yeah, it's Glory Road.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's very British.
Yeah. Sounds good. I don't really care.
I don't know. He's a storyteller, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going to get twisted in that. But officially, we are coming to you live from the podcast, able to tell you that, like, yeah, a film is going to be made of this situation. Yeah. I know we're going to do YouTube
people
stuff.
Don't even know that.
No,
there's so many things that I haven't told people.
There's a documentary.
Yeah.
So it's really, really exciting. Josh is going to be producing that, and I guess we are now 5 months down the line, 4 months down the line, 6 months down the line of you two meeting, him being entirely invested in what you're about, who you are, and your story before Africa and during.
Yeah.
So that's happening. Let's wind it back then to Austria, where you were having a pretty rad time, right?
Yeah. And then obviously, Josh has decided that he's in now. At this point, he was like, "Love the story, sounds sick. I want to be part of it. I'm in." I was like, "Yes." Then.
What are your feelings at this point, though? I'm guessing you're not really realising.
I don't really know where this is going to go down, what it's going to look like. I'm just like hell-bent on making sure that it goes down.
So obviously we know money equals making shit happen, and Josh doesn't come from necessarily, like, he's not a crypto person, he's a storyteller, right? So he's going to tell your story. What makes you be like, yeah, let's get that on board? I actually don't know this question, that's why I'm asking you.
Because from the conversations that me and Josh had, I knew that he was the guy that could bring in the people that could bring in funding.
So essentially, this is what I love every time, is just that regardless of anything, you want to do this. You want to run. You want to fucking run the length. And it doesn't really matter what happens after, what happens during. You want to do it.
It needs to happen, yeah.
And I love that for you.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So that's exactly what happened.
Okay,
Josh came
cool.
on, and he started building out a more like commercial team.
Yep.
So obviously like Sharon,
Mhm.
who will intro properly at some point.
In come the ladies, can I
Yeah,
just
and
say, the girls start
we have a
some bad fucking bitches.
selection of bad bitches leading the project. To be fair,
You're gonna meet a few of them on this podcast for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So Josh kind of built out that side of things,
Yep.
and then my focus sort of turned to on-site team.
He's realizing I can't be a cowboy in Africa.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need some people.
I'm gonna need some people to film and like make sure I don't die, and just help with the overall bits and pieces of
Full disclosure,
mission.
going to be discussed in another podcast, but there's no amount of people checking that you can't die, right? Like, let's just throw it out there. Like, Africa's risky. Africa's hugely risky.
I mean, yeah, I won't die though.
No.
It's pretty unlikely. I fought it through.
Yeah.
And
You're the hardest geezer. Like,
exactly.
you've come at peace with whatever happens,
got a
right?
dangerous right hook.
There we go.
Yeah, so there's nothing.
We
to
all
worry
know
about.
that a guy took a bear out recently, so.
And
you know
I feel
what?
like, I'm back into the energy
Yeah.
to bring me through any
Amazing.
circumstance. Sounds a bit voodoo.
Vibes. You chose your team on vibes, so
honestly,
like you are.
I don't think
vibes man.
many people realise how strong the vibes are and how much the vibes can get you through.
Okay, so if we know this is going to happen, let's go to today. Where we at?
Yeah.
So Josh is on. We're going to have
Josh is
someone
on.
telling the story. We've got a little bit of backing
Yeah.
that's keeping us comfortable right now. I mean,
Yeah.
we are coming live from Spain, south of
Yeah.
Spain. Can we have a little cheers?
Ching,
Salud.
ching, ching, ching.
Chin. So you're currently training.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it's important. You're about to say something. What are you
What was
going
I about to say? I was about to say, so we bit out the on-site team as well. So we've got the on-site team.
Of course.
We'll give them proper intros at a later date, actually. But basically, there is an on-site team who will be coming.
How
with me.
many?
3 of them.
3.
So yeah, recruited for that. Then it kind of comes to present day, right? So then it's like
present day.
yeah. So
Because you brought on a team, and this got a little bit bigger.
yeah.
And as we've now revealed, there is a full-scale documentary. With that comes a certain amount of clout. Should we say clout in a scenario where you can't just go cowboy? No, but you can't really do it cowboy anymore.
No, this is
You're not a
true.
cowboy.
Well, when there's
You
other
won't be a
people
cowboy.
when there's other people relying on the project, and it can't be cowboy anymore. If it's just
What do
me,
you mean
then
relying?
not relying, but there's other people that have invested a lot of their time and energy into this project, then I can't just be selfish and be like, I want to do it cowboy, so I'm fucking doing it cowboy.
Because I think essentially I don't know, I don't want to give tricks away, but anyone who wants to do this in the future, I don't think it's a solo affair.
It's difficult to make it solo affair
if you wanna
unless
do
you're
the-
so multi-skilled that you can film, record, edit content,
I think
put it out to sponsors.
Yeah, I think what's beautiful
broadcasters
about what
and-
you're about to do is that you will, when you get on that road and that path, you will be able to just run.
Yeah.
And that is fantastic.
And
You'll be
that's
able
what
to
I'm
do what
good
you
at.
do best. You're
Yeah.
really fucking good at that, and you will be able to do that because you've brought on, you've accepted how this is gone.
And that's kind of that's the reason that you came on board, is because obviously the team started getting bigger in terms of like we had Josh and Sharon and a kind of whole commercial production, them professional people, and then I've recruited my team, which were like my bandits that I was
Bandits,
that I
yeah,
was
proper
rounding
bandits.
up. So I was kind of finding myself in this position where, yeah, in my head I'm just a loose cowboy like runner that I'm just trying to every day I'm just want to run and roll around in some mud. But all of a sudden I was like having conversations with people, and then I'm like trying to like think of ways to lead this team and do this, and I'm like and reply to emails and shit. And I was like, whoa, what are they saying? What I signed up for?
Yeah,
Fuck
is it
all
really?
this.
And that's okay to say that's not what you signed up for.
And so then I was like, I need someone that can.
Your
that-
friends who are watching this are going to be like, yeah, oh my fucking God, this is just not what
Yeah.
no.
And then
Everyone's
I was like, I need
terrified for
someone,
your safety and well-being.
I need someone to handle all that because I'm incompetent at doing that effectively. So then,
Because you don't want to be fucking around with
so
it, do you?
that's when I called you up. I was like, Amy, on board this shit right now. And then
Yeah.
You were like, fuck it, I'm in.
I was.
And I was like, sweet. And ever since then, just been training day in, day out, getting my 3 hours in, 3.5 hours.
Hey, it started at 4. When we got to Spain, you were on 4 hours, and then you
Yeah.
slowly got it down, and
Yeah,
then you
well,
love it here in Huelva.
Because there's
so-
the delay now. Have we mentioned the delay? That we're going in February and not November? Have
I
we
don't
even
think we
mentioned that
have
yet?
mentioned, no.
Okay. So
Because we were going on a timeline, but
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, it's taken us to modern day, which is Spain. We're in October. It's the end of October.
Yes.
We're currently now in a training camp because as project manager, I have been overseeing everything and said that I would only let Russ know things on a needs to know basis.
Yeah.
One of the needs to know basis things was that potentially he might have to change the time he left.
Yeah.
Obviously, we
news
explained
for
to you
me.
that there's a documentary now, and with the documentary comes a lot of interest on other potential things going on, which is super, super exciting.
Yeah.
Super exciting for Project Africa.
Yeah.
And so, in order to alleviate any issues, it would take Russ to compromise on his leave date.
Yeah.
Basically, just to cut a long story short,
Yeah.
all will be revealed in time. Russ needed to compromise on his leave date, and he had November in his head, and it was my job to break that news. And I mean, I think from a perspective you trust, we have a good level of trust, and I
Yeah.
think I'm able to communicate what the general drive is for this.
Yeah. I
And
knew it had to be
so-
done. I just didn't really. I was
Wow.
just so hell bent on November that I was like, fuck. And I didn't want to be in the UK and when it's cold and then bounce straight to the Sahara Desert, which is why we're here.
Yeah, yeah. So I made you a promise that
Mm.
you didn't have to go and be in the UK until it was time for Africa.
That's like fucking sweet.
And so far, I'm keeping my promise,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So south of Spain.
South of
sweet as,
Spain.
getting the training in.
It's going really well, huh?
It is going really well. My body feels great. I feel like I'm probably the fittest I've ever been right now. You know?
Yeah, what did you say on the phone the other day? You were like,
I was like,
Guys.
fuck, I'm getting good at running.
it's like, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm getting so good at running.
Yeah.
So good at running. And yeah, I guess.
Well, like right now, I'm running like between sort of 30 and 33k a day, every day.
And what will you be
without a
running?
problem.
What will you be running when you're en route in
63k
Africa?
a day.
Okay, so that's significantly 50%.
Significantly more, yeah. Well, double basically.
Double.
And
But
that does, but
give me your reasoning behind that. Like
Well,
what?
when you
Which
go
I'm sure it
past
changes
a
every
certain, when you're training for something like this, the mileage needs to be built very gradually. And if you up it too soon, you'll risk your injury way too much, basically, right? So I'm running sort of 32, 33 now, and then it's at a good level. I'm building strength in my legs. I'm building the endurance, and then it will just ease up gradually. But before the challenge, I can't see myself going really past 40k a day.
No.
Because the risk of injury is just too high,
Fully,
and I need, the most important thing is that I roll in to the start line with a fresh body that is as fit as possible and ready to take a load of damage over the next 8 months. If I damage it too much before, then
So a lot of questions that you've had up to this point, where we are, end of October, is, people are like, what? Where do you get your knowledge from? Like, how do you know that's the training plan? And I just literally listened to him so convincingly tell you all that this is what he's doing because X, Y, Z. But I mean, essentially, you've had no formal training. So can you just tell me where the fuck that information came from?
Okay.
And give me some reasoning.
Okay.
You're an underdog. Like,
yeah.
Come through.
Well, yeah. I've never had a running coach, and
Wow.
I don't really look at what other runners are doing either.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm coming back to it again. I'm purely really going off vibes. It's quite an intangible that's hard, and I'm hoping that over the next kind of 8 months I'm going to get better at explaining this.
Yeah.
But intuitively, I can feel what's good and what's not good for me.
I love that for you.
And
Essentially,
I've
that's what's going to get you through
I've
Africa,
got
right?
better and better at this.
Yeah.
And also, without, I've been around the block a few times.
Mm-hmm,
Like I've done the Asia to London Run, I've done the Carbon Marathon, I've done Buried Alive, and the training for those, my training for each of those things was pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
And and it's always worked really well for me. So I'm
love that.
sticking to that.
And
If it ain't broke,
I
don't
think
fix
anyone
it.
listening to this podcast or anyone who has been following you for a while, like loves that about you. Like that is the essence of you. You're going to meet Jackie, one of the bad bitches on the team. She said she had no reason to come on board to this project at all. And this is a lady who you will come to find is utterly incredible. No reason to come on other than she knew he was going to do it. And she was like, he doesn't need, just vibes, like fully vibes.
It is energies.
It
That's
is.
all it
And
is.
I think that's what's going to get you through for sure. Obviously, as things get bigger, I'm sure people will come through and be like, yo, come and do this test and see if your lung capacity is better or whatever. But really,
it's the energies. And
it is the energies.
Yeah. And that's what I am. I'm chief curator of vibes.
I love that.
And
this is a team of vibes, and this is a project of vibes.
Yeah.
And it's all mega, mega exciting.
But it all, like the training also is like it's based in logic as well. So it's and it's applicable to what I'm doing. It's just some things just get overcomplicated, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of these sports scientists, they just
Absolutely.
love to get a few stats out, and look, they're great at. They can be really helpful, but also like I've got to run 63k a day, so training, just run a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking makes sense to me.
I understand that. I mean, I'm going to ask you in a second, like, what are the non-negotiables? So I'm sure this has been announced in the Instagram video. It's 360 marathons in 240 days. One of your non-negotiables is that you will not be having a rest day. So if you're stuck at a border, it will be that will be the only time that you would rest necessarily. It doesn't mean they're going to be stuck at borders, but if you do, that would be the only significant rest period. If you have to get on a boat for any specific reason, you will be running on that boat or making up the mileage at any specific point.
Yeah.
I think there's vibes, and then there's like the reality of what you're biting off. Obviously in another podcast we'll break down like logistics, safety, all that kind of thing. But
there's a lot to go through.
There is a lot to go through. But like, yeah, you're doing 360 marathons in 240 days, no rest days. If, weather permitting, it will be 8 months, I reckon 10. We're doing 50, what you're doing, 15,000 kilometers?
15,000 kilometers, yeah.
16 different countries. You're going to be going through
Sahara Desert, Congo rainforest.
Congo, looking like the Congo. We're going through wet season now. If it's a
and
February
the
lead
Sahara
date.
Desert in like spring as well, so it's really pretty toasty there.
There is
Namibian desert. We've got a few mountains in the north,
and that's not even touching on conflicts and things in Africa,
no,
right?
and we've seen it from planning, like logistics wise, the last few months. There's like, one day there will be something pop up in one country and no visas are getting issued, and then it's this and that. So I mean, there's going to be things popping up, but and overall, I am 100% confident that this will happen.
Yeah,
I actually have. I know it sounds bizarre, but I have zero doubt in my mind that I will do it. Like absolutely zero. I just know that it's happening.
Amazing.
Get me to the start line, I'll make it happen.
Amazing. So, I mean, I think that's a really good place to end. Like,
yeah.
Either way, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's going to be finished, and you're all coming along for the ride.
Exactly.
Literally, that everyone's coming along for the ride.
We're gonna try and start putting some more stuff out so that people are a bit more up to date, and I'm not such a ghost.
He always says this. No, don't worry, everyone. This is the beginning. You're all gonna start knowing. This is,
and then I'll flake for another.
Yeah, but
month.
Russ is just know Russ is doing what Russ does best, and that is running.
Curating vibes.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And you'll meet the rest of the team in time.
Yeah. The good thing is, right, I'm unreliable in terms of content, but what I've done to mitigate that is put a load of people in the team that are gonna make us put content out.
Yeah.
So, do you know, master plan.
Oh, honestly, you're gonna take over the world. I can feel it.
All right, cool. Let's end it there then.
Whoop, whoop.
We'll see everyone in the next pod.
In a bit.
Sweet.
Laters. Hasta luego.